Hello, guys. Um, how are you? You can hear and see me now, right? Can you see? Yes. As you know, I've had a few live streams already, and I've been using my really bad camera on my computer, and I've been using my really bad microphone on my computer, which I will be still using today, actually. Because I haven't gotten a new one, but for my next live stream, I will also have a better sound. But yes, at least now you can actually see me. Hello. You have never been able to really see me before, and now you do. Yoo-hoo. Thanks to Jürgen for helping me getting a camera. That's very nice. And he also brought these very beautiful purple lights, which I felt kind of fits the mood of the witches and the warlocks. Um, I wanted, first of all, to thank you all for coming here. That's very nice of you. I really appreciate it. And then I wanted to thank you all for giving me 1 million followers on Instagram. Um, it doesn't. I find it hard to grasp how much that is because now it's only a one number one. Um, but I like the letter M, so I don't mind it. But my happiest day was when I had 888,000 followers. That was the best. Everything after that is just nothing because 8 is my favorite number, as you all know. So I can never achieve the same happiness ever again as I had that day. Um, but yes, I released a second playlist now, a second EP, with some songs I felt fits this magical mood that I sometimes find myself in the nighttime when the moon is up, the moon is awake, and when it's quiet, or when I walk home and it's windy and kind of cold. I like to kind of turn all of these kind of cold and lonely elements into something magical, because then it just feels like the world is more magical than it is, I guess. And I like making the world more magical than it actually is. And suddenly it becomes really magical, which is very cool. I think it's very important to always have imagination and to never feel like you're too grown up to um to create magic for yourself. It's very important. I do it for myself every day, and it makes me really happy. Happy. Yeah. And I called the playlist "Music for Witches Out There." For the witches out there, I think it's the name. I always get the names wrong, but it's hard to remember so many words. There are so many words in the world. But yes, music for the fellow witches out there. Yes, and I really, and I really want you to listen to it when you, um, when you see these things out there that can seem lonely, or when you feel lonely and it's cold and it's dark outside, or warm and dark, depends where you are. But then I want you to listen to this list and to awake the inner magic in yourself. Um, because there are a lot of things out there that are more magical than it seems, um, yeah, it's quite great. I think there was something else I wanted to talk to you about, but I think I forgot it. So it's nothing to do with that. And as you can see here, I have this magical ball, and I actually lit up a candle behind it because it makes it seem more magical than it is. But I find it, I just find crystal balls very magical, as you know, and it might have a meaning that it's there. It's here for a reason. It's on my piano for a reason. Um, it's going to be a very exciting year I'm very excited. It's going to be a playful year. And it's important to play. It's important to play. It's as important to play as it is to cry and to take time off, to sleep, eat, and dance and laugh. Playing is very important. I wanted to sing one of the songs from my list. Um, from or I like playing the songs that I created originally on the piano um, in a lonely hour. Like last time when I played Runaway, which I made when I was 12 on the piano at home in my parents' house. And this song I also wrote on the piano. And I remember feeling very inspired that day by by both very personal things, but also things that happens around in the world. But I find things that happens out there very personal. I take it very personal when, which I know many of you guys do as well. I take it very personal when bad things are happening to my brothers and my sisters out there, or when wrongs are done, and when because the world is filled with so much injustice, and it's just heartbreaking. It truly is heartbreaking. And I was very inspired by both the world, the world, and by my own kind of experience, or how I had been experiencing life for a little while. Um, and I named the song "Soulless Creatures," which for me is a very important song. It's kind of like an underdog. Not so many people have heard it, um, because I guess it's more alternative, but it's one of my favorite children. It really is, um, and it's very special to me. Soulless creatures. It's both about how. No, I'm not gonna say anything more. I think I want you to have your own experience and to find your own meaning in it. That's one of the things I really take seriously. I find it extremely important to make sure that you're all allowed to find your own meanings in songs, because um, that's the beauty of the song. I think that you can actually it can mean something different to every person, and I find it so strange to think about that, because it's very often that I write something and later I tell you that, oh yeah, this is inspired by a man who murdered someone, or a woman who cut up body parts and hid them in the boxes. And then people are like, oh, well, this song actually reminded me of my father. And it's just, and then I kind of regret saying what the inspiration behind the song was, because sometimes it can ruin the experience of the song. Sometimes it's exciting, of course, but I try my best to make sure that you can only have your own meaning in things. It actually happened once. I didn't know what to say. Yes. Um, and again, I'm going to try my best. I've been rehearsing a bit, but sometimes it's hard to focus on rehearsing because there's so many things going on. And then I wanted to paint a little. And then I went for a hike on the mountain. It was beautiful. It was just really cold today. And the air was really, it felt like 1,000 little bites on your cheeks because the air was so cold. And the sky was completely blue, which normally I don't like because I find it a bit childlike looking and a bit unserious. I like a grey sky much more. But yes, the sky was blue today, but on the mountain it looked really pretty because the mountains were completely white from the snow. And the sky blue just made it look like a winter paradise. and it was really magical. And then I sat on a little plastic thing that is very slippery, which allows you to kind of slide down the mountain really fast on your butt. And I did that. Now my butt hurts a bit, but it's worth it. I've been doing it almost every day for about 2 weeks. So that's why my butt hurts a lot. My butt hurts a lot, and that's okay for me. Right before I did this live, or I was going to do this live stream, I spilled some candle wax on the piano. So the keys feel very strange around here where I'm about to play, which is kind of annoying because they're not smooth. They're full of stiff candle wax. But that's life. That's life. And what was I gonna do? I told you about the mountain. It was beautiful. Then I came back and I was going to rehearse, but then yes, I started painting some ideas for merch and stuff, and for it's hard to keep your mind in one to do one thing, when you. I think many of you are like me, that you have a mind that kind of jumps around a lot, and you. I find it extremely easy to focus on one thing if it's about creating something new, but like things you have to do, like rehearsing, I find it really hard to focus, because my mind wants to create something new instead, and then I do that, and then I forget. But I rehearsed a little bit. Oh, you're so sweet. I see all your comments. It's so strange that you're all here with me. I find it so strange still. It's hard to believe, but I can see it when I see like this comment list moving and still so fast that you can't really tell what's being said. But I can see your hearts, and I guess that means love, which is nice. Sorry, when I'm here alone, it's hard to do what I'm supposed to do. But yes, I'm gonna try to play Soulless Creatures, and yeah, and you'll have to figure out for yourself what you want it to mean. Never knew this curious head of mine. Never knew what is love if kept inside. Nothing but an endless empty heart, like laying a seed within the dark. Give me a piece of your heart, Give me a piece of your hands as we go. I wouldn't mind if I can't find anything to save our kind. All the pieces of my body's gone. Look at me now, I'm falling apart in daylight. All the pieces that I've lost, I have lost. Come back to me after peace restored. Waiting for the world to turn the sun, listening to the deep magnetic sound, hunting for to me after peace restores. Soulless creatures. I know, then it's fearsome hearts I wouldn't mind. I got memories that travels my mind. Fear not when you go. I got pieces of your hate in my soul. Look at me now, I'm falling apart in daylight. All the pieces that I've lost, I have lost. Hey, 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 I wouldn't mind if I can't find anything to save our kind. All the pieces of my body is gone. Look at me now, I'm falling apart in daylight. All the pieces that I've lost, I have lost. Look at me now, look at me now. I give both parts of me. I give both parts of me. Thank you for the invisible applause. I really appreciate it. Yes, I forgot. Sorry, I really tried to do it perfect for you, but it's possible. But yes, I forgot that I accidentally wrote the second chorus in that song differently. It wasn't planned. I didn't notice before after the song was recorded that I had written an entirely new chorus for the middle part. And then it's the same chorus in the first and the third chorus is the same. Which is kind of strange. I don't know why I did it. It just happened. And it just fits the song. But it's easy to forget when you do it live. Because it doesn't happen a lot. You know? My lips are really chapped. And it's really annoying. I think it's because I've been outside a lot in the cold today. And when it's cold, I'm gonna check the time. Oh, and when it's cold, your lips get chapped. I think I said this last time as well, and then I put honey on it, or olive oil. But you need to make sure the honey is from a place where they treat the bees very nicely, because many bees are treated very bad, which is horrible, because they're so sweet and so small, and for being so small, they're still such an important part of the world and the ecosystem of the world. It's quite incredible, isn't it? If the bee can, then you can. Hear me, young Padawan. If the bee can, you can. But if I can, then you can. But yes, it's very cool. The bee is this perfect symbol of why and how something so tiny can be so important and make such a huge difference. Which is how I feel about us as well, each and every single one of us, which is quite extraordinary. it's quite beautiful. Gives me a lot of hope about the future. This song is slightly connected to, other than of course my personal things, it's also connected to my, my how sad I feel on behalf of Mother Earth, because she's such a powerful creature and she's given everything of herself to us, and still we managed to hurt her so badly, that maybe one day she won't be able to become herself again, which is incredibly sad beyond words. And I think many of you are sharing that with me, the the concern for the future and for our planet and the world. I think it has a name now, because so many people are really struggling with this, like a climate anxiety about the world and our planet and the animals on it and the people on it. It's just endless, isn't it? I think it's important to think small like that sometimes, to think that we have to fight for every little thing that is worth fighting for, even ourselves and the tiny little battles we have every day, the tiny injustice that we are affected by every day. It's so important to fight for every little thing that you think you deserve and the people around you deserve, and to fight for everything we believe in, and that makes life worth living, because life is so pointless without these things. So we just have to decide for ourselves that this makes life worth living. Candles and snow and the planet and the animals and wind and dancing and music and good food and wine and all these beautiful things that really makes life really beautiful. But it's also important to think really big in other situations. So I kind of flick between the two. In my everyday situation, I look at every tiny thing and I see beauty and I ask questions, and I I love the world and every small thing in it. But during times where something extreme is happening, where I'm going through things, then I like to think really big, and I like to think that, well, I'm just a tiny speck of human flesh living on a rock that's floating in the middle of the dark, void of nothingness. And who cares what I'm doing? I don't need to do anything or be anything. I should just have fun. And it's important to have a good balance between the two, to not put too much pressure on yourself, but do your best and do the good you can. But also, just try to have fun on this very strange earth that we find ourselves on. Because being a human is indeed an extreme sport, as you all know. And yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to thank you again from the deepest place of my tiny but big heart. Um, it's so overwhelming to get so much love, and I can't wait to be able to go on tour again, so I can see you and touch you and look into your eyes, and just so you can feel that I love you all the same right back. I really do, because you know that I do. You know it. Because I always say so. I always say that I love you guys so much, because obviously without you I wouldn't have anything to do. I wouldn't have any meaning. Or I wouldn't have any purpose to do with my music. I wouldn't. It wouldn't mean anything, and you make my music more meaningful than it actually is, which is so cool. Okay, so thank you, and just do your best and have fun and drink water, stay safe, wear a mask, wear a condom, wear a scarf, and take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. It's so hard to speak English. Oh my lordy lord. And take care of yourself. And by this, I will leave because I have a life, you know, and you do too. And it's time to leave. But I will see you again very soon. And I promise by then I will have a better microphone so you can actually hear how bad I'm playing. I love you. And goodbye. And stay safe. And meet.